De me gusta mejor. All that shit, the Ilya Taporia theme song, man. I got that shit in my head. Um, Obviously not the lyrics because they're in fucking Spanish, and I have to listen to a Spanish song about 1,000 times to really understand the Spanish lyrics. But it's a catchy song, man. It's a catchy ass song. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay, mi amor. A mi morena de mi corazón. Some shit like that. That's a good song, man. That's a good song. That Ilya guy, man. That Ilya guy is growing on me. He's growing on me, man. I hated the fuck out of that guy. I still kind of do, because he whooped my goat, Alex Volkanovski. That's a fight I'll never get over. But man, if he didn't beat Volkanovski like that, I'd be an Ilya Taporia fan. I'd be a hardcore Ilya Taporia fan, bro. This guy is good. Yes, he is copying a lot of Conor's stuff, like bar for bar almost. Like in his fight, in the build up for his fight against Volk, he went over and grabbed Volk's belt just like Conor did. He's got the back tat just like Conor does. Some of his trash talk looks very Conor McGregor-ish, but he's got his own style to it. He's got a little bit of his own little flavor to it. The Spanish flavor and the Matador and all that shit. And his shorts look really good, man. I wish they gave Conor custom shorts, man. That would be cool, but Ilya's shorts look good. They look really cool. He got the bull on it. I want to make a video about that, but I felt like it would be too small and, just not really substantial enough to make. But Ilya's shorts look really cool, on a side note. Really, really cool. But I'm making this video because I think this will be my final address of the Ilya versus Max fight, before the fight actually happens, because it's happening this weekend. I mean, like, the only other video I'll make on that fight will probably be about what these two say during the press conference. But in terms of the actual fight itself, this will be my last video on it. There's been some more content on the fight, like they've talked and they've had more media coverage on it, especially about that first 10 seconds thing where, like, Ilya wants to point to the ground in the first 10 seconds and do the same shit that Max does in the last 10 seconds of most of his fights. I don't think it will happen. I think it's too dangerous. I don't think Max Holloway will oblige. I don't think he'll want to do it. And I wouldn't blame him. It's a dumb decision to make. I think it's really dumb to do that, especially with a fighter like Ilya who's got monstrous power in his hands. I mean, you could go for it in the last 10 seconds, especially if you're losing the fight. Definitely go for it in the last 10 seconds. But I don't even think Ilya will do it in the last 10 seconds, especially if Ilya's winning the fight. I think Ilya will either step back or go in for, clinch work. Try to take Max into the clinch. That sort of thing. Like I said, I'm going to go with Ilya. I feel like, my mind's been, like, leaning towards Ilya ever since the fight was announced. Even kind of before the fight was announced, when Ilya had that viral reaction to Max's viral knockout at UFC 300 against Justin Gaethje. And it's just because of power, really. I think it's just power. As great as Max Holloway is, he does get punched. His chin does get touched by almost every fighter he fights. And like I said, all Ilya needs is 2 clean ones. I think Ilya just needs 2 clean connects to the chin of Max Holloway, and Max will go out or fall right to the ground and get finished on the ground. As great as Max Holloway is, Max will go out as a legend. Even if he loses this next fight humiliatingly, he will still be a bona fide legend. What he did at UFC 300 is legendary shit, and will probably still be fight of the year, take fight of the year and knockout of the year and all that other shit. Because it was really, really cool what he did at that last second. And Ilya wants to do that shit too. He wants to fight. He wants to do the same shit in the first 10 seconds. And I think, if that was to happen in the first 10 seconds, Ilya will get a knockout. And I think that will definitely engrave Ilya Taporia's name in the UFC Hall of Fame, doing that to Max Holloway in the first 10 seconds. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Max Holloway is smarter than that. He won't entertain that, and he'll just, continue to fight his fight, especially starting out. Um, Max is a longer fighter. He's got to utilize his reach and his length and his distance control in this fight against a shorter fighter who is Ilia Topuria. He cannot get in close with Ilia Topuria, and he cannot allow himself to get backed up against the cage like Volk did, because we saw what happened to Volk. Do not let yourself get backed up against the cage against Ilia Topuria. That's like rule number one. He's got to keep slipping out. He's got to find his way. He's got to find his way to slip out of that pressure. As soon as he notices himself getting closer to the fence, he's got to slip out, either move to the right or left. Don't let yourself get cut off. Ilia will try to cut him off, but he's got to be quicker than Ilia. With that, I think Max should utilize a really nice, clean jab. I think he should have a better jab than Volk had when he fought Ilia, because I think a good way to beat Ilia Topuria, especially as a longer fighter, is a jab and a really fast head kick. I think you could do a couple things to set up a really nice head kick that will definitely land, because Ilia Topuria is so short. And oftentimes Ilia's hands are out in front of him, and he's trying to, gauge distance and strike with you. So that head kick could be open at some points, especially if you try to set it up with other things. And that's what I think Max should do. Max also has a nice spinning back kick that he uses to gauge distance. He did it against Justin Gaethje. I think he should do it against Ilia Topuria. The minute he feels that Ilia is pressuring him a bit too much, go right to that spinning back kick and, try to dig your heel into the abdomen of Ilia Topuria. I think that's a good way to keep Ilia away from you, because, like I said, Ilia is going to want to get in close so he can set up his combinations and find a clean shot to the chin. That's what Ilia is going to try to do. Ilia could also try to grapple, but I think he will not try to grapple earlier on. I think if striking isn't working for him, Ilia will resort to grappling. And I think Max also has an answer for that, because his takedown defense is pretty good. But I think what Max has to do, like I said, is fight at range and set up a head kick, man. I think a head kick is open. We all saw Islam Makhachev do it to Volkanovski. So why can't you do it against Ilia? You can land that, and it can put Ilia's lights out. And I think, a win over Ilia Topuria, Max has to be on the GOAT list after that. They got to put Max on the GOAT list. I think, again, the chances are less than the chances of Ilia winning. I'm going to go with Ilia. Like I said, I feel like Max has the tendency to get into these wars. And I think it's just inevitable for Max to get in like a sort of a back and forth, Like, I think Max is going to get into one or two exchanges. He has to. And those exchanges are so dangerous because, again, both of these guys are throwing, and I think Ilia is going to have a combination that's really good and really well put together, where he's sending stuff to the body and then going right upstairs. And the minute he goes upstairs, he's going to put Max's lights out. And so many people have these high hopes for Max, and, oh, Max is still there, and I love Max. I love Max too, and I hope Max wins, because I still hate Ilia for what he did to Volk. So I would be celebrating if Max were to win this fight. But I just don't see it. I just do not see it. As an MMA fan, as an MMA content creator, as a guy that wants to bring you guys the facts and what I truly think in every video, I do not see Max winning this fight. Because it's going to be exchanges, and in those exchanges, Ilia is going to connect. I feel like it's almost inevitable for Ilia to connect at least 4 times in this fight, cleanly. And I think all Ilia needs is 2 clean shots. Just 2. Clean ones on the chin. And Max is going out. As great as Max's chin is, as long as Max's chin is held up for, I think this is just inevitable. Ilia is too damn good. And yes, Max is the longer fighter. Yes, Max can utilize the jab and the head kicks and all the textbook approaches that the taller, longer fighter should use. But like I said, Max gets into these dogfights. He likes to go to war. That's a commendable quality. But when fighting Ilia Topuria, you don't really want to go to war with that guy. And that's just what's going to happen. So you let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. But most importantly, subscribe. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next.